So let's get down to business. As we say, there are Huns to defeat. Shout out to Mulan. And shout out to our boys who will hopefully make it back to the playoffs this season. But before that, we got some stuff. We got some things and some stuff to do. Because when do we not? And you would think taking a day off to, a couple days off actually, to think about things would work out in my favor in terms of deciding what to do. No, it really hasn't. It really hasn't. We have 3 goalies. Only one of them can stay. Unless we use Luongo as a backup. Because to maximize the development of Lundqvist or Marc-Andre Fleury, they would need to be the starter. The benefit for Fleury is that we haven't had to sign him yet. So we could just get rid. Oh, God. Maybe we do keep Luongo. And who does it put as the starting goalie? Because Fleury went up by 3 overall points last year, sitting out the season and playing in junior. If we go best lines, who is the goalie? I think we can get away with 1 year of Lundqvist Luongo. And if Hank doesn't prove himself, Fleury takes over next year. I think we can get away with that. And that way we have an incredible backup goalie. You know, we don't necessarily have to worry about Luongo when it comes to development or anything like that. We're not going to sign Brent Seabrook. Rafael Mayer's 20. We are full on contracts as well. So yeah, we do have a lot to sort out here. But goalie-wise, I think we're set. I think so. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised by that. Let me get up the old Word doc, as we always do. So if we look at our goalies again, this season, we will go with Hank, Luongo, and then probably Stania. I always heard Stania. It might just be Stana. But Rostislav Stania will be the NHL depth option. And then the AHL goaltending will be post-meh Eriksson and someone 64 or lower. We're going into the lockout year, indeed. Alternate history aplenty. We could also look to trade this Lovejoy dude if anyone's interested. Ulanen. Let's take Ulanen from Philly. Why not? Who cares? Who cares? So goaltending's pretty much sorted then. Defense. Didn't get any easier. So we still have a top pairing of Zdeno Chara and Brian Campbell. Eric Brewer. Oh, God. And then we got too many dudes. Mills, what's going on, man? How are you? Let's see. Lassi Kukkonen. He can definitely still play in the AHL at 22 years old. He doesn't have to be rushed to the NHL. Other depth defensemen. Curtis Foster can definitely still be in the AHL. Jonathan Girard should probably be at the NHL side of things. Kevin Bieksa can spend another season in the AHL. Our AHL defense then is shaping up to be pretty good. And Jeff Gilson should also probably be at the NHL level. Could also play in the AHL just to have the team be good. That's if we have nobody else to sign. So Jeff Finger is in that same category of could play on either side. Klesla, probably second pair this year to get him to develop. He's still promising. Barrett Jackman at 23 will be in the lineup, even though he takes a crap load of penalties. And then there's Al McInnes, who is still insane. He's old as dirt. But he still put up a lot of goals last year and still has that bomb of a shot. So I think we'll still utilize McInnes. So honestly, I think the healthy scratch defenseman is going to be Jeff Finger with Jeff Gilson and Jonathan Girard in the AHL is how that's shaping up. Unless there are other defensemen signed that we need to worry about, which includes Braden Coburn. So Coburn needs to play. What else do we have that's signed? Anybody? Keith Ballard? Oh, shit. Yeah, this is when it gets to be a problem. AFC, how are you? Good to see you. David Hale. Sorry, you caught me at a time where I'm really focused on putting this team together. We are going to have to get rid of some defensemen. Oh my god, we have way too many. Whew. Okay. Yeah, we have way too many defensemen. Good lord. Right, Michigan won today. They sure did. So Jonathan Girard, if I trade Girard, I'll get in trouble. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for trading Jeff Finger. But does anyone have interest in Jeff Finger? They do. Third, a fourth, an alto, 2/3 from Atlanta, a second from Buffalo for Jeff Finger. Old man Luke Robitaille, old man Ron Francis. I mean, the second round pick is probably the better way to go. Juha Ullinen. Dave Scatchard. Okay. We are going to go for the second round pick, no matter what, it's an Eastern Conference team. We're going to take the second and third away from Buffalo in exchange for Jeff Finger, because we don't really have room for Jeff Finger on this roster anymore. So that works out pretty well. We still have other guys that we have to move. Just on the defensive side of things, I haven't even sorted out the forward core yet. I don't think I can get away with trading Jonathan Girard, but can I trade Jeff Gilson? A lot of people interested in our players. Fair enough. Shout out to Mike Komisarek, Tim Gleason, Marc-Andre Bergeron. I mean, medium 9/medium top 6 seems to be the going rate. Ryan Shannon, 2K10 legend. Ryan Shannon. Brooks Lake, R. DiPietro. That's not Rick unless they moved him to wing. Anybody else? Okay, well, we'll go Western Conference, but I don't want to trade for a defenseman. So do we have a notable forward from a Western Conference team? Not really. Brooks Lake. Jeff Gilson for Brooks Lake. Works for me. Just to move a player. So Kukin and Foster, Bieksa, Coburn. I still ideally have too many players. That said, Jonathan Girard can be our 7th defenseman at the NHL level. I got to get rid of 2 more project defensemen. It's just whoever the worst 2 are.
I'm just trying to walk
is the best thing for us. Shout out to Murph. Welcome in, Murph. Happy to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so 2 other trades with our 2 worst project defensemen. I think we just brought in David Hale, which isn't great. Kukin and Bieksa. The alternative is that we leave certain dudes as healthy scratches. Plus, there's Mayer who could be signed, but we could technically leave him as unsigned. Seabrook isn't signed yet. Coburn's a little bit down. Can I? I'm going to have to just, batch get rid of some of these guys. It doesn't really make sense to keep too many of these dudes and have them as healthy scratches. They'll develop, but they won't develop as well. I would say Hale makes the most sense, and if I get in trouble, so be it. And it makes sense to pair him probably with Kukin, based off of age, potential overall. Can I trade them 1 by 1? So it would be Hale and Kukin who get dealt here. So for Hale, 13 offers, and none of them are too good. Yikes. We'll take a 7th round pick from the Ducks just to move on from him. Mills, my man. My man. How was franchise on the Madden side of things? You are killing me with the temptation to run back to Madden sooner rather than later. I imagine you were rolling with the whole San Antonio deal. How did the stream go? And a happy new year to you, my friend. By the way, from Murph, didn't want to follow yet because I'm only halfway through watching NHL 13 franchise. The loading screens are brutal. Oh, Murph, they never get better. Don't worry. The loading time in NHL 13 never gets better. It's always that bad. Mills, again, thank you, though, very much for the raid. I appreciate it. I am still trying to lead this flashback version of the New York Islanders to some sort of success. It's not going well. Let's pull off this trade. I need to free up a roster spot, so Hale getting dealt for nothing is fine. We can do that. The old calm before the storm. And this isn't even the calm before the storm. This is freaking roster madness. Whoops, and we went too far. Islanders in success shouldn't be used in the same sense. Well, I mean, not since the early 80s, at least. We drafted, then traded Rick DiPietro, though. So, I mean, that was promising. Who was that other defenseman in Kukkonen? We're going to move on from him. Vandenbush. Oh, God. Is that John Mitchell? Do I want a roster spot? I'm not going to get a great return on this deal. I think I'd rather have the roster spot. Let's just send this dude to Edmonton. I'm not going to get better than a 5th round pick. So that is perfectly fine. And I think from there, we're okay. At least for defense. Again, goaltending is pretty well sorted. Defense is almost sorted, so we're getting there. NHL 14, we turned off injuries, and it still doesn't help. Yeah, those it's easy to lose sight of it. It is so easy to forget that we are spoiled. Absolutely spoiled by the modern loading times. Big shout out to Killer Socks. 61 months on the primer. Socks, how the hell are you? Happy New Year.
I'm just trying to walk through this.
And again, anyone from Mills that has stuck around. Shout out to Moto Beard for the follow. Anyone from Mills who's stuck around for like the last 2 minutes or so, thank you. Welcome in. Happy to have you here. I do dumb franchise things just like Mills. Well, not entirely, because I can't grow a beard to save my life. But there's a lot of similarities aside from that. So, you know. All right. The other thing that we wanted to do was just kind of get rid of the dead weight that we wasted draft picks on. Because why not be a little bit cheesy? Can I get a 4th round pick for that combination of dudes? Yes, I can. Perfect. Thank you very much, Anaheim, for taking my garbage. Nico, thank you for the 20. Happy New Year to you, by the way. So again, Mayer and McCann. We couldn't sign McCann anyway. The big question is Raphael Mayer. To be better in the AHL, or will he develop? I'd have to get rid of one other dude. And I don't know who that dude would be. Ivory as well. 63 months. My goodness, the resub lengths tonight. Appreciate you. Ivory, Happy New Year. As we continue to date how far back these episodes are, by the way. This episode's so far back that I might not even upload this on the main channel. That's a spoiler. Or is it? Who's to say? Big shout, by the way, to Joe. 15 months. Everyone got paid on New Year's Day. All right, we're going to leave Mayer unsigned. These other two, or this other one, I should say, in Silverberg has to go. Washington. Give me a 5th. Washington. Give me a 6th. Washington. Give me a 7th. Washington. Take him for free. Thank you very much. Oh, that was a nightmare. Oh, no, TKH, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't voice it that way. Oh, God, we still have Rabadas and RFA. We have so much to sort out here. Whew. Mag, what's going on, by the way? You ever think about how Steve Yzerman took a guy who's not the best goalie prospect in our organization over yes, but also no. Steve Yzerman has a spotless track record. How dare you? GOAT GM. GOAT. How dare you? Never insinuate otherwise. You'll make people very mad, as I've learned. Top line this year is going to be Nash, Zetterberg, and Tim Connolly. Our second line is going to be Spezza, Heatley, and Radim Verbata, meaning that McDonald and Dumont would be on the third line should we keep them, alongside Ryan Malone. And the fourth line can be old man Brett Hull with Taylor Pyatt and Renee Bourque. The depth forward conversation is Trent Hunter. Andy Hilbert's kind of in that mix too. Can be down in the AHL without too much of a problem. Dupuis should probably be in the NHL if we care about him developing. Big shout out to MN Sports. If it's not Minnesota, then I'm confused. But welcome in. Happy to have you here. Okay, there we go. So we got 4 dudes who are NHL caliber who would suffer a bit if they are not in the lineup. To make it simple, Hilbert and Kolnick will stay in the AHL. It's Minnesota Sports. I mean, I presumed. Sorry, trying not to lose my train of thought here really quickly. So Hunter or Dupuis could be the healthy scratch. I mean, Hunter has the better potential, but man, he's not going to reach it at this point. Let's go with Hunter. We'll give him another season in the AHL to see if he develops. So Pascal Dupuis will be our healthy scratch this year. And then also down in the AHL for our forwards will be Brooks Lake, Marcel Gotch, Chris Neal, Antti Miettinen, or Mettinen, depending on who you ask. Chris Kalanos, Louis Eriksson, Chris Kelly. Oh, we're running out of spots real fast. Colby Armstrong. Can Stillman? Oh, God. Stillman should probably play in the AHL. That's concerning. Matt Stajan is available. Mike Richards. Shishkanov, excuse me. Joel Lundqvist. And Riku Hall, which means I have no space for Stillman. He probably will develop better not playing. I think we're okay. Maybe. 47 players on the contract. I, in theory, only need 3 dudes. So, worst case scenario, I'll have to get rid of 1 more forward. But I think we're okay. So, goalie-wise, we need just a complete scrub. Just a complete scrub at this point. Actually, no, it doesn't have to be a complete scrub. They just have to be a healthy scratch. Who is the oldest? Sean Burke. Let's go for Sean Burke. Why not? We'll see if he signs. And then I need 2 defensemen to be healthy scratches. We'll again look for the older crowd. Is that Jyrki Lume? That is Jyrki Lume. Good old Adam Burt. 2 first names. Curtis Lasician. Let's go for Curtis Lasician. And Brett Hedican. Why not? That should be about all that we need, with the exception of signing our RFAs, and then we might, just possibly, be good enough to start the suit. Ooh, Heatley got abilities back. I didn't notice. At least before that. I think we are going to be good to go. We very much should be a playoff team this year. That is not really in doubt. I do not want to trade Louis Eriksson for Trevor Linden. I do not want to trade Louis Eriksson for Trevor Linden. Heatley and Verbata, there we go. And I'm going to have to clear out the trade block because they are going to annoy the crap out of me. And actually, I can just kind of go back to turning off those alerts. Can I ask what's wrong with Sebastian Cossa? Goalies are voodoo. They can look like they're going to be great and then not be great and then end up being great by like age 30. You never know. And then they can end up being AHL backup like Jack Campbell. You just never know. So Lundqvist, Luongo, and we'll actually go with Sean Burke on the NHL roster. Defense, Chara, Campbell, Brewer, and Klesla. That's actually perfect. And then forwards, Verbata and Heatley need to get called up. Pyatt needs to get called up as well. Like... Who am I missing? Hilbert's got to go down. Bork was fine. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing that I meant to send down? Hunter. That's what it was. That's what it was. Okay. I think we're all right. I think we are. So, we look at our lines. Dude, the the ability development is insane sometimes. My God. So Nash, Zetterberg, and Connolly is the top line. Heatley with Spezza and Verbata. We'll have Malone on the third line there. And then Dupuis will be out for Taylor Pyatt. And shockingly, Brett Hull is going to be the center of that line. We'll go Malone, McDonald, Dumont. We'll actually go Verbata, Spezza, Heatley. And then Nash, Connolly, Zetterberg. I mean, if this isn't a playoff team, then what is? We'll have Char and Campbell together on the top pair one more time. Jonathan Girard needs to come out for Barrett Jackman. I'd rather have Brewer and McInnes together. And then Klesla and Jackman. And I'll see if a coaching change can help us there. It might not. And then Hank is our starter. NHL team looks outstanding. AHL-wise... again, we want to take out old Stania. Hello? Quick swap. Thank you. That was weird. For Norm Erickson or Kim Erickson. We got that old Norm Postma. Defense is Bieksa. I need Coburn in. So Coburn and Bieksa, Foster, and Ballard, Kolyakovo, Krachasek. That works. That works. Who has... best potentials? So we'll make those quick changes there. So AHL defense looks really, really good. And then forward-wise, Hall has got to come out for Shishkinov. And I think that's the only change. Kalanos is a high bottom. Okay, hold on. I do have to put a little bit more work into this than I thought. High bottom 6 for Chris Neal. All right, so Hall's not coming in. He was a medium bottom 6. You got a high 9 for Armstrong, high bottom 6 for Kalanos. So Chris Neal ends up being a healthy scratch. Did not have that on my bingo card. But it worked out. The potentials of these players, of our top prospects here, it's dropped off big time. A little bit concerning that we don't have any top-notch guys outside of like Louis. And I guess maybe you could consider Mike Richards in that category. It's still going to be a very good team. We could easily see another Calder Cup for the Chicago Wolves. I like how they're looking. The last thing to do is to optimize our coaching staff to make sure we have the best chemistry possible. Not as if that means much. But Kadri, Justice Kadri, is our current head coach at a 63%. How good is Persaud? 55, so it won't be him. Combs, 69%. As it stands, Mateo Combs is our new head coach. Georgievich also at a 69%. What about the A+, Piero Zabedel? Only a 63. So it's either Georgievich or Combs. Score 1 to Georgievich has a higher grade. Even. Score 1 to Combs. It comes down to influence. Mateo Combs is going to be the head coach of the New York Islanders. It has been decided. We'll have Piero Zabedel as our associate coach. Although there are plenty of options. And then Georgievich probably ends up being the assistant. And then we have our goalie coach. All right. I need one more coach here. I mean, technically I don't, but... technically I don't. It should be fine. I don't even really have to waste time. Let's waste time. Is there a good... Yeah, there's a good coach out there. J.C. Schwartz. How long will it take to give you a max offer, my friend? Not long at all. Thank God. Thank God. All right. So let's get a look then at the... One more thing we can do. Persaud is at a 66. How good's Kadri? 67. All right, well, there we go. Justice Kadri has been demoted to being our AHL head coach. Let's see what the line chemistry looks like here. Whew. Is it hot in here, or is it just me? God damn. +5s for the top 6. Nash, Connolly, Zetterberg, Verbata, Spezza, Heatley. +1 for that third line, and the fourth has a +2. The defense, we are going to have to put McInnes on that lower pairing. So it will be Brewer and Klesla. And then we'll have McInnes with a Barrett Jackman. So the defense still leaves a little bit to be desired. And then the AHL, not too much in terms of chemistry boosts. It's at least not bad. No negatives. Second line is the VHS line. If only I could put... I mean, I could put Heatley at center. If only you could set it up like you could the power play lines to say Spezza takes the draw but then shifts the right way. If only, Snipe. If only. But while this has been very setup heavy, I feel like it's worth it. You got to look there at the process in terms of the crazy decisions that could be made. I mean, we made decisions that involved not making a decision. But that's a good sign. That means this team is absolutely stacked, which means we're going to be trash. Absolute trash. Our ratings for the start of this year, by the way, you got to look there, 98, 85, and a 92. One of those three things is not like the other, but we do have a 98 rated offense compared to 97, 90, and an 85. So the Rangers are still going to be very, very competitive. No real surprise there, but let's get into it here. Let's do it. I am willing to kick things off and indeed see if it's going to be a good time for us this year, like it should be, or if it's going to be a very, very bad time. I mean, anything short of the playoffs wouldn't be great. I wonder if Mark Messier will retire yet. No kidding, right? We do not have Rick DiPietro on this team. We did draft him, but we traded him. as Henrik Zetterberg with a sprained ankle. We haven't been great so far this year. Al McInnes goes down to injury. There might be some controversy on the island here. Let's get Zetterberg and McInnes back in there. This hasn't been an incredibly strong start to the season. 12-13, 0-0 as of December 1st. It is good enough for third in the division, but again, the playoff standings do not work like they do in modern time. It is the top 8 seeds that make the playoffs. Right now, we would be the 8th seed, averaging just 2.96 goals per game, 5th worst in the conference, despite a 96 rated offense. Goals against at an even 3. So our defense and goaltending has been on point. It's our offense that has been disappointing. Oh, is that a coaching thing? Nash just 18 points. 22 for Connolly, 20 for Zetterberg. Let's see. Coach does roll 4 lines. Edit strategies. Behind the net. Overload. I mean, the coach has the 4th line shoot quite a lot. I feel like those strats shouldn't be hindering the team. Too many passers. I wouldn't say that. Every line has a sniper or power forward. Oh, Hank might not be here for the long run, everybody. He is blowing this opportunity to be our guy. I'm going to give it a little bit more time for the boys to work things out. If it's not looking good as of January 1st, that's going to have to be a coaching change to really get the team clicking, hopefully, towards the trade deadline. So, Hank doing his best Ilya Samsonov impression. No kidding. All right, 500 on the season. We are just hanging in at around 500 right now. This is not great for a team that is this stacked. Get Gerard back out for Klesla. 4 straight losses. I'm making the changes. I'm making that change. He is technically the best coach that we could have, but Mateo Combs is going to be fired. As a result, I'm going to have to get rid of Schwarz, who we hired at the beginning of the season. Georgievich was the other coach, if I'm not mistaken, that had a really good team fit. So he will now be the head coach. And Combs can be relegated to assistant coach. Georgievich is the guy. AJ, what's up, by the way? Happy New Year. So we should still have really good line chemistry. And we do. Again, Georgievich also looks great as a coach. So we'll see. We'll see what can be done here. But we need some results over the next month. Badly. We need to see results, and so far so good in the aftermath of that coaching change. Until then, we lose 3 in a row. Might the team actually be too good? Are we being hindered by EA nonsense? We did just beat Florida 11-2. So basically, 500 on the season. Just before the trade deadline. A little bit before. It's February 1st. 51 points in 50 games at 25, 24, and 1. Jesus. We are so unbelievably mid and are still occupying the 8th spot. Barely. What is going wrong with our boys here? They shouldn't be performing this poorly. If we look at the goaltending, Hank has been dreadful. Do we make the call now about Henrik Lundqvist? Find a different temporary backup and then see what happens with Flower, because I don't think we need to sign Marc-Andre Fleury right now. I feel like Hank's got to go. Or we turn off auto-rotate. But I feel like Hank has to go. Which sucks, because the meme is perfect of making him an Islanders legend. Is there a good offer out there for Henrik Lundqvist, who is our second most valuable goalie? Radek bonk in 2 seconds. Okay, you know, my initial reaction was, oh God, Radek bonk, but he's actually an 88 overall. He is still a very good player. Really good two-way as well. He is good at everything. Very well-rounded. He's not necessarily what we need, but that's not a bad offer. Especially, he would be on the third line with Andy McDonald and JP Dumont. A third line that could be a top line. The alternative is manually looking for a deal here. Blackburn's 23. He sucks. Manually looking for a deal of prospects that might be out there. That's not a prospect, but that's a very interesting option. The San Jose Sharks are looking to move Patrick Marleau. I feel like we should probably be in for that. Instead of getting Radek bonk in 2 seconds, spend the extra to get Patrick Marleau instead of getting the extra back. Berezin, Tucker, Dmitry Kristich, Shane Doan now at 29 years old. Mike Pekka, Jeremy Roenick, Radek bonk, of course. Not to mention, if we go after Marleau instead of Radek bonk, that is a trade with a Western Conference team. Would get Henrik Lundqvist kind of out of sight, out of mind. That looks like the best deal for us right now. Dallas is looking at blowing up their cup-winning core. Steve is, well, someone on a list of people who should go to jail. Allegedly, as Bill Clinton once called him, Steve Yzerman. Good old Steve Yzerman. With Mark Messier, that's an old-ass team. Oh, Dion Phaneuf and Paul Ranger. You know how tempting that is for me? You know how tempting that is for me? With Dion Phaneuf and Paul Ranger. Jeez, it was a Clinton reference, not an Yzerman reference. Saku Koivu. It's got to be Marleau. It's got to be. What would the cost be? Okay, I'm going to have to do this manually. What didn't Steve Yzerman do? Cup-winning fool that he is. Patrick Marleau. For Henrik Lundqvist. That is a lot of value to make up. But it's Patrick Marleau, man. We could use Louis. I don't want to use any of those three. They are our 3 best prospects. BX is up there too. Ryan Malone would be great to use in this trade. Although, he'd be going down to the fourth line, which wouldn't be that bad, which means we could use Trent Hunter. Hunter would be a great person to use in this deal. Dupuis as well, right? Because if we add Marleau, Hull, Pyatt, Bork, Pyatt would probably end up being a healthy scratch. Or Hull. What's Pyatt's value? He's not even up here. He is not even up here. Where the hell is Pyatt? There he is. Pascal Dupuis, Trent Hunter, Henrik Lundqvist as the basis for the trade. There's no way it goes through on its own. We keep Ryan Malone for the fourth line. We have an extra second from Ottawa. Lundqvist, Hunter, Dupuis, and a second from Marleau. Quite far off, it says. What about 2 second rounders? It's going to have to be the first, isn't it? We're not giving up Fleury. A bit off. Lundqvist a first. Hunter, Dupuis. And like a 7th rounder for Patrick Marleau. Henrik Lundqvist hasn't been great. Hunter and Dupuis, I mean, Hunter's done well in the AHL, but he's never going to hit his full potential. We get rid of Hunter and Dupuis. Actually, in fairness, we don't even need to give them Hunter. They want Brett Hall. They can't have him. I'd rather give up a second than give up Hunter right now. Lundqvist, Dupuis, a first and a second for Patrick Marleau. I can't say no. Will the Sharks go for it? A bit off. Maybe I should give up Trent Hunter. A first, a second, a fourth. Henrik Lundqvist and Pascal Dupuis for Patrick Marleau, who is now the newest member of the New York Islanders. So you see, a lot of people were speculating, your team's too good, so you're going to lose. So you know what I did in response? I made the team even better. It's foolproof, I tell ya.